Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy, Rhoda Laughlin. Why is consistency critical for your health and aging? We're going to talk about that today. If you're looking at the show today on YouTube and you're not subscribed to this show, USA Global TV and Radio, please subscribe. We're also available on Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck too on YouTube. Why is consistency? I mean, it's not something we think about, but in reality, after today's show, you're going to learn a lot more about why it's so much more critical than what you do. It's a consistency in what you do. So let me get my slides lined up here, and there we go. We're live streaming. This is a live show. It is going to be on audio podcast later on down the road, but today everything is live streaming on Amazon Fire, E360, YouTube, many channels there, Android, TV, social media. I have it on my 2 Facebook pages and more. Awareness and education, that's what I specialize in for my talking head shows. I can be found at redolaughlin.com. That's red, R-E-D, O'Laughlin, O-L-A, no dot, Red O'Laughlin, O-L-A-U-G-H-L-I-N.com, Red O'Laughlin. You get my contact information, my books, everything that you need to know. There are well over 1,000 blogs on some aspect of health and wellness. Why does consistency matter for aging? Well, we're looking at it today as a live show, but you can also find my show today and other shows archived on the USA Global TV and Radio on YouTube. So I specialize in root cause analysis. I've been doing this for, now almost 30 years, maybe. I learned it back in the oil field when I was working for Halliburton. Why do things fail? And we'd go into a real deep analysis on that. I took that same basis I had my commercial world, and I adapted to what's going on in the body cellularly at the root cause level, what happens at that cell. And I look at it from a biological and chemical perspective, more from the chemical side, because if it's a chemical chemical reaction, they can be sped up, they can be slowed down. In some cases, they can be stopped, inhibited. So that's my primary focus. And I love to tell people what helps, but I also include there, if you do this, it'll make it worse. We'll talk a little bit about that today. I consider myself a translator of complexity, especially for the human body. So many complex systems in there, and I try my best to get it down to the level that everybody can understand. So if I look at my current book on this topic, it's called Longevity Secrets of Healthy Aging. I wrote about 10 years ago. I concentrated on a couple of different areas that I think people could work directly on right then and there: human growth hormone and the telomere length at the bottom of your DNA. And I decided that, there's a lot of things happening out there. There's things that have been more clearly defined in the last 10 years with regard to aging. They don't consider human growth hormone as critical as it used to. It's not included in the 12 hallmarks of aging, but there's 8 hallmarks of health. And I also look at the pathways of disease. So my new book coming out this summer is called Aging Sucks, and it's going to go into a lot of detail about what are the true causes of aging. My standard disclaimer for everything that I do here on this particular show is this does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If I reference any particular compound, chemical, whatever, it's strictly in a research context. And always, 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 especially if you're on any prescription meds, talk to your doctor first about making any changes. Okay. New book out this summer. I'm going to have a webinar series that based on that book. I'm going to be talking about various subjects such as aging, health, disease, and then we'll talk about a couple different organs in the body or maybe more. And I'm also going to talk about pain. Aging doesn't have to suck, but most of us believe it does. So, and I've said this before, aging involves a lot of interactions in the body. And sleep is one of them. And that's a slide from last week that I did not change. My error. Sorry about that. But consistency is what we're talking about today. So why do your daily patterns determine how you age? Aging is not an event. It's not one bad decision. It's not one good decision. The decision, aging happens because what you do over and over and over and over and again, every day. Aging is a result of repeated signals over time. Now, signals, that's the communications in your body between your brain, which tells everything what to do. So it goes down your vagus nerve in the back and it goes to different organs, and that gets translated into the cell. So you have these peptides are going out. You have these other communicators that basically leave the cell, go to a cell in another part of the body and say, do this. And so we have signals that are going back and forth. And as we get older, sometimes those signals just don't have the same power they had before behind them. Maybe it's the result of something happening at the cell where it's sending a signal out. Sometimes it's along the pathway. Sometimes at the final destination. It gets there, knocks on the door, and nobody answers. It's just a weak signal. So why do some people age faster than others, even when they try to be healthy? Yeah. Is it genetic? Yeah, maybe sometimes. Is doing 4 things right and 10 things wrong? I think absolutely, because we just don't know what causes everything. So we do the 3 or 4 or 5, 6 things that I know this is healthy. But what about those things we do that we don't know about? So we know that lifestyle choices are the ones that really and truly control our health and our aging. Diet, exercise, stress, sleep, those are the basics. But doing the right things for 1 or 2 months isn't enough. It's just, yeah, you're in the right direction, but you need consistency. We need biological consistency. So those repeated daily inputs that shape how our bodies adapt. Let's say I'm doing 15 minutes of exercise a day, and I do it every single day. That's consistency. Maybe I walk 2 miles in the morning before I do anything. Lots of things we do. I eat healthy. I have my greens. So look at those kinds of things with regard to diet, exercise, stress management, and the quality of your sleep. Those are the things that our body are really paying attention to, because each one of those hallmarks of health and hallmarks of aging respond to whatever you're doing every single day. So our repeated daily inputs that shape our bodies, that shape how our bodies adapt. And that's the key word here. In addition to consistency, our bodies adapt to whatever's going on. So we respond to patterns, not an occasional effort. I'm right now, let's see here, I just passed 88 hours of fasting. I do a 72-hour fast every month. I'm a little late this past month because of several things. But I do 72 hours. Sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's 150. But I do an extended fast every month. I'm thinking about going into a regular cycle of doing a 2-day fast or 2-day very low calorie, and then 5 days of eating, or 3 and 4. So it's one of those things that I'll probably be experimenting with here very shortly. But it's the repeated cycles of what you're doing that's important. I don't go on a 72-hour fast and then, yeah, that's good for me health-wise, but it's not good for me long-term. It's not something my body can sustain. But I might be able to do a 1 or 2 day fast in a row and then 5 days. It's kind of incremental, but we're not basing our body's aging and health on our intentions, our needs, or expectations. It's based on what our bodies actually do. So what's the minimum time to declare consistency? Well, scientists tell us it's anywhere between 18 days and 254 days. And they say, well, 66 days is probably the minimum. That seems to work for most people. So if you took a pledge today, literally first part of April, to say, April and May, I'm going to do whatever. And just pick one topic. You don't have to pick all of them. But, maybe you want to standardize. Consistency occurs in a little over 2 months. So our bodies adapt to what we repeat. If we repeat good inputs, we see improvement. If we repeat bad inputs, we see decline. But most of us are not doing that. We're repeating inconsistency, and our body's seeing confusion. And that's key, because consistency amplifies the direction we're going in. So if we're constantly confused, our body doesn't know what's happening. It's hard for our body to maintain. So we can't stabilize without a pattern. And the pattern may be adaptation, it may be decline, it may be confusion. So if I take a look at dose plus frequency plus duration, Dose is the amount of whatever you're doing, exercise, eating, sleeping, etc. The frequency is the repetition. Am I doing this 66 days in a row, 2 weeks, and then I stop doing it? Whatever it is, that's my frequency. The duration is the time I have invested. How much, how often, how long do I doing it? So if I'm doing, let's say 30 minutes of exercise a day, I do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at noon, 10 minutes at night. Okay, that's my investment of my time. So I look at the amount, the repetition, and how long I'm doing things. So hormesis is one of those technical terms. It basically says that if I just do a minor change, I'm going to get a better result than if I do a major change. So let's say that I don't eat for 2 days, I lose 2.5 pounds, I go back to eating again. That high dose didn't do anything. Those 2 days of fast did nothing for me, because now all of a sudden I'm right back where I was. But my body is fluctuating. But if I decide, okay, I'm taking a 400 calories less each day, and I'm consistent on that, then that little bit makes a difference in the long term. Consistency drives all our lifestyle choices, every single one of them. And so if I'm looking consistency in my diet, I'm looking at repeated fuel signals getting into my body. My exercise, I'm looking at repeated stress adaptation, sleep. I allow my body to repair itself consistently the same amount. And stress, I'm basically trying to tone down the overload of my environment that affects me in a healthy and an anti-aging way. It's not the choice, it's the pattern. What breaks it down over time? Okay, consistency affects. It affects the hallmarks of health, hallmarks of aging, the pathways of disease, everything. So if I look at the hallmarks of health consistently, I just pick a few of them. Inflammation regulation, absolutely. If you have a certain amount of stuff going on, inflammation is going to be under control. DNA repair processes, again, sleep allows you to make those DNA repairs. Autophagy, that's the cleaning of your cells internally, of everything that's broken, everything that's trash, everything that needs to be recycled. We're looking at consistency and the hallmarks of aging with regard to hormonal balance. If I'm eating the right foods all the time at the right time. I've told people before a story about my wife when she was going through chemo. We went after that chemo before radiation, we changed to the WALS protocol, WALS being WAHLS. And literally in 4 days, 3 days, she was, because we adapted her protocol, it wiped out months of chemo fog fatigue that literally had her in bed all the time. She went through radiation absolutely wonderfully. 2 days later, we're in Jacksonville loading up my parents' estate stuff. I'm driving a U-Haul, and she's following me 500 miles by herself each day without a problem. And because the consistency of what we were doing at that time, we adapted that diet, and I'm measuring stuff every day, doing everything. Things work when you're consistent and you're using the right stuff. Poor patterns accelerate our breakdown. So if I'm looking at health and aging and I have my pattern, even though it's consistent, it's a bad pattern, it's going to affect us, like say decline. What keeps your body functioning well? Well, we beat this horse consistency to death, but we're going to keep beating it. It's there and needs to be beaten. But we benefit from our repair capacity. I've talked before in the past that our aging is basically a battle, a balance between our repair capability and the damage that's being done to it every day. 24/7, your body is being inundated with attacks all over the place. Our repair capacity is our immune system and the foods we eat and the stress we can manage, the sleep we do. So our repair capability is really and truly fighting that daily damage. You can keep above the damage, you're going to be okay. But that damage starts getting the upper hand. Now we have a problem because now your visible aging is going to see it. How many pictures of presidents have you seen? They get into office and 4 years later, my goodness, what happened to them? They had so much damage happening to them in so many different ways that their repair was not able to take care of it. We look at resilience, energy efficiency, system coordination. A lot of good patterns reinforce our health. As they reinforce our health, they decelerate our aging processes. Inconsistency is your differentiator. So it's the most overlooked problem. I mean, we're doing these things. Okay, fine. I'm doing this real well. I'm eating well. I'm exercising. Then all of a sudden I go on vacation and I binge out on this. I mean, I used to do this all the time in Europe when I was living in Germany, working there. I'd go down to Italy, pig out for a weekend, gain 12 pounds, come back 2 weeks later, I'm back to where I was. Yeah, sometimes we need a little bit of time off, but the consistency, if it's only that weekend once every 3 months, 4 months, we can live with that. But if that inconsistency is every other weekend, then it becomes, it's like having that one crack. I bet you can't eat one chip, the Lay's commercial. Well, that tastes so good, I come back for a second. So if our brains are working right, I should be able to take a piece of that cookie or a piece of that chip. Taste okay. I agree. It tastes pretty darn good, but I don't need the whole chip. Or I don't need the whole cookie. I just needed the taste, and that's a hard thing to process in our brains. So if we eat well, then poorly exercise, then stop. What have we done? We have four basic lifestyle choices, and we did one, and then we made the other three, so they canceled that out. So master one, then master the next, then master the next. Depending on what options you have, setting your time for sleep is, pretty easy for most of us. Setting an exercise schedule is not that difficult, even if you don't go to the gym, walk around the block if the weather is there. If the weather's not there, drive up to the mall and walk around the mall. Eating well, again, that's consistency in the right choice of foods. And then stress management, something we don't do very well. And that's a matter of finding what agrees with your mindset with regard. Go to YouTube and look at a half a dozen of them. Adaptations, our bodies cannot adapt to randomness. So if we're good in everything, it's going to adapt. If we're bad in everything, it's going to adapt. But if you're up and down willy-nilly, it can't adapt, and your body's it's not where it needs to be. So what's consistency? Let's talk about a couple of examples. So if my example is 20 minutes daily, that's good. I can consistently schedule maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, but I have my 20 minutes down. I have a certain prayer schedule I go by. I have certain things I do. I ask my wife, did you do this or this? So we have backup each other. So we have a very consistent prayer schedule we go by. So I have that, and we're constantly backing each other up on that. So, but if I look at 10 minutes of exercise a day or 20 minutes, it has to be consistent. If I 2 hours twice a week, because that's the only time I go to the gym, that's not consistency. A regular sleep schedule. We want a regular sleep schedule, but we want regular quality sleep. And there's a lot of things to get. You may sleep and wake up in the morning, feel terrible. Do you figure out why? Was there something bothering you from a stress stress perspective? So we don't live on an occasional good sleep. Obviously a lot of people get up early, go to work, and they use the weekends to sleep in. Well, yeah, it's not the best in the world, but that's kind of some of the habit we get into. But it's one of those things they tell you. If you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work on the weekend, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's what the scientists tell us. I tend to believe the same thing because that sleep is very, very critical for your repair. So if all of a sudden now you're doing 9 hours sleep and here's a 12-hour sleep window, did you really gain a whole lot? Because the whole purpose was to get you that good 9 hours of sleep. Moderate diet daily versus extreme dieting cycles. One of the worst places you can go is an all-you-can-eat place, because when you can eat everything that's there as much as you want, there's problems. I went to an all-inclusive resort down in Dominican Republic a few years ago. Loved it. You go in there and you just fill up your plate. All you can eat, all you can drink. Doesn't matter what you're drinking. All you can eat, all you can drink. Well, that was for a 4-day window. It was interesting. I would love to go back, but I know more than I know now then. Small actions repeated win. That's our hormesis. We have incremental changes that we make consistently. So whatever that is, I make that change, I stick with it, and when I master that one, maybe I tweak it again. What people get wrong, common mistakes. Okay, I'm sure you've heard it. I've done the same thing. I'll do it later. I'll go all in next week. All in is not a good thing. It may sound good. It may make you feel good temporarily. It may actually benefit you, but going all in for a short period of time is not the answer. I was good yesterday, so today doesn't matter. Again, I've used that one myself. Your body doesn't average well. It doesn't take the highs and the lows, and it responds to patterns. So if your pattern is up and down, it's confusion. Patterns drive our outcomes. Okay, let's look at a couple of different systems here. In aviation, I was an aviator for 16 years with the military Navy. Inconsistency breeds instability, and that instability can kill you. That's why in our squadron, You had to have so many landings per month. You had to have so much nighttime. You had to have so much IFR. You had to have, I mean, there were requirements. If you're flying an airplane, you have to have these minimum requirements. You can't go up once every 6 months and do something. You have to have consistency. Engineering, inconsistency leads to failure. I mean, we see that periodically. Some stage falls down, or a bridge collapses, or something else happens. It was an engineering problem. Now, I will say, sometimes the engineering says this is a 30-year bridge, and we're now 60 years into that 30-year bridge. Is that fair? No. We have to look at what it was actually designed for. Biology, that's where we're at in our human body. Inconsistency leads to dysfunctions, which leads to our health getting worse, our aging accelerating. So it's the same rule, consistency, different systems. You have more control over what's going on than you realize. You don't need perfection, you just need consistency. Establish something, build those patterns, not one-time events. Aging is a process, not an event, and we have control over that process. Your body sends signals 24/7, 365. Every pattern is teaching your body something, to create this much insulin, to create this much hormone, to create this much whatever, or to use this amount of glycogen for whatever we're talking about in our body. The signal goes to that part of the body and makes it happen. You certainly climb stairs, and all of a sudden your heart rate is up, your breathing is up, because the body's responding to the stress it was under at that particular time. So whatever pattern's going on, if you're climbing steps, it's going to respond. If you're walking in the heat or whatever, the body's going to respond. Listen to your body. It's a clue. You are training your future health. That's probably one of the key items I had to say today. Consistency, whatever you're doing, right, wrong, indifferent, confusion, up, down, good, bad, you're training your future health. And that is what's dictating the quality of your aging process. Your body is always adapting. The big question to ask is, what are your patterns? It's one of those things we really don't think about, but we should. So habits form, generally most people, 21 days, 30 days for the vast majority. Some of us take a lot longer. 254 days is what science says. So they said, in reality, probably 66 days is like 95% of the people. So 66 days, that's doable. I can see that far out. I can make something happen for 66 days. But I have to be consistent. So if I have sleep inconsistency, it's going to be linked to my mortality rate. That's a big deal, because I don't allow my body to repair itself. If it doesn't get repaired, it's going to cause a decline in my immune system and everything else. Consistent sleepers have a 30 to 40% lower mortality rate than those people sleeping consistently. Regular exercise. Exercise is a great stress reducer. It's also great for reducing the risk of a disease. So if I look at 150 minutes weekly, that's what they consider weekly. So if I exercise, that's 20 minutes a day. Divide 7 into that, a little over 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes a day for 7 days. It's something. Can you go out and walk around the block a couple times, 20 minutes? Yeah. Outside sunshine, fresh air, does a lot for stress management. Sedentary lifestyle, where you're not doing anything at all as far as exercise goes, couch potato, your mortality rate increases 20, 30%. Not extreme, so we're looking at a hormesis. It's about consistency. Your body is always adapting, even when you get old. So I'll be 80 here very shortly this summer. And everything I can tell you right now, I've been adapting to a lot of things over time. But what patterns are we teaching ourselves? If I want to live longer and healthier down the road, which I do, I don't want somebody changing my diaper for the last 5 years of my life. That's not what I consider a good quality of life. I want to be able to protect myself, so I'm able to be independent and be able to really and truly enjoy life. So what patterns are we teaching ourselves? I have different options. I can reduce the friction of the day. In other words, a time constraint. Maybe I lay out my work clothes ahead of time. I don't have to rummage around in the dark trying to find a tie that matches or a belt that matches my shoes or whatever they happen to be. They're set out. All I do is get up, shower, shave, whatever I need to do, and go. I can pre-plan my meals. I know tomorrow I'm going to have this, and the next day I'm going to have this. I know I have everything. I've already been to the store. I don't have to worry about last minute. Okay, I wanted to have that, but I don't have. I forgot to get that. All of a sudden I forget what I was going to do. And my plan is, if I know ahead of time and I have the stuff, fine. I have a brother and a sister-in-law coming in next week, and I'm already planning the meals for the couple days that they're going to be here. So I'm looking ahead of time. Okay, this is what I want to have that day. That's what I want to have that day. I know exactly so I actually write on a piece of paper. Okay, this for this for that. Make sure I have everything. When everything comes, I do the mise en place. I prep everything up, and everything happens very, very nicely. We need to anchor our habits. Whatever that habit is, the same time I go to bed every night, same time I wake up every morning, the exercise that I do every day, whatever that is, anchor that in. It becomes a 7-day-a-week habit, no matter what. In fact, no matter what is one of those key things in your brain that we don't realize that our subconscious mind controls everything we're doing. But sometimes I say, if you add the phrase, no matter what, I actually wrote a book about this, no matter what, you can do it. But no matter what actually talks straight to the subconscious mind that controls everything you do. So if you're trying to establish a new habit, no matter what may be one of those things you add to whatever you're doing. So lower the bar. Maybe you can't do 20 minutes of exercise. Maybe you're working with a cane, but every single minute you're doing something improves. Her name Walls, Dr. Terry Walls. Late in life, she was an internist doctor for many years. I think she's still alive. And she came down with MS, and no matter what the doctors did, it got worse and worse and worse and worse. She ended up in a wheelchair for a few years. And so she decided she was going to do a study of what caused everything. And so she wrote the Walls Protocol, which deals with diet and exercise and stress management, toxin relief. But the thing that we honed in, my wife and I, was the diet. Why? Because she was ending the chemotherapy she was on, and I extended the period between when the radiation was supposed to start. The doctors wanted to push everything together, but my wife needed time to really and truly absorb not being at the doctor's office as often as she was. So I read this book. I said, let's do this. Well, why did I do that? I think if you read the book, you'll understand. She was in a wheelchair for years. All of a sudden, she put herself on her own protocol. In 3 months on her own protocol, she was able to get out of the wheelchair and walk using a walker. Big deal. Now, a month later, she's walking just using a cane. By the end of the year, she's bicycling 18 miles a day. Why did that happen? Well, the true reason, when you start looking at everything, her diet covers, her diet part covered 30, 31, 32 nutrients the body needed every single day. Consistency. I was measuring stuff out. So many leafy green vegetables, so much colored fruits and vegetables, so much sulfur-laden vegetables, so much certain kinds of protein and high quality fats every day. Well, for my wife and I, we couldn't do 2 meals a day. The protocol said 3. We just couldn't do it. So we hung up with 1, and that worked out very well for us. But literally in 48, 72 hours, she was able to kick months of fatigue that I could not address any other way. So do it every day like your life depended on it, because certainly your health and your aging will depend on it. Don't go all in, then quit. That's, again, confusion. It's mixed signals. Don't rely on motivation. As much as we think we can get motivated, life happens. Things happen. We lose track. It's amazing how we start down this path, going to get this done, and it doesn't matter what it is. Something creeps in that makes us get off schedule. Don't create extreme swings. Okay, extreme swing. Maybe you're really and truly tired. You wake up, but you know that if you sleep in another couple, 3 hours, things are going to be fine. If I'm sleeping 9 hours a night and all of a sudden I have an opportunity for 12 or more, and I've done this a lot myself, that 12 hours feels good. But your body, it feels good at the moment, but it's not what makes your body better down the road. The goal is not the intensity of what you're doing, it's the repeatability of what you're doing. And that's the key thing when we're talking about repeatability, consistency. If this makes sense to you, start today, start tomorrow, but pick something. I would say probably the easiest thing is set the time you go to bed, set the time you get up. That's something you can control. Can you control, your level of exercise? Can you walk around the block or something like that? Go out, set your watch for 10 minutes or 15, 20 minutes, and go out 10 minutes. Go out and walk. Watch goes off. turn around, come back home. So there's certain things you can do in order to make you a better person, better healthy, less aging down the road. So increase your walking. If you're walking a mile a day or 15 minutes a day or whatever, after a couple of weeks you have consistency, increase it 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Marginally increase it. Don't increase it to 5 miles. Increase it marginally, and then make sure you're consistent with that increase. So if I'm working a mile a day now, and then 2 weeks from now I increase it to 1.25 miles, okay, that's incremental. But don't increase it to 2 miles. Now, let's say that you're fairly healthy and you do a mile and you do 1.5 miles. Okay, maybe your standard should be 2 miles. Now I'm doing 2 miles a day. Now, 2 weeks later, maybe it's 2.5. But look at what you're doing. Listen to your body. It's a clue. It's going to tell you good or bad. So increase your walking, sleep better, reduce stress. That's something we all can do easily. YouTube has a lot of options on what way. Just go there, reduce stress. I like EFT, emotional freedom techniques. I like Brad Yates. I love to follow him with his tapping routine that he does. Whatever he's saying, I'm doing the same tapping routine. Works great on stress. The issue with tapping or EFT is the length of time. For me, I found that I need minimum 8 minutes. If I do 8 minutes of tapping, I generally see a result. So eat better. A salad plate. I've been giving this advice for years and years. Portion control seems to be a major problem for many of us. If I go to a salad plate, and I've done this for over 10 years, whatever's on that plate, that's it for that meal. That's it. Whether I'm at an all-you-can-eat place, that's it. I don't go back for seconds. But it contributes to portion control, and it contributes to restricted calories. For restricted calories, that's generally about 30% less than what the nutritionists recommend. Many animal studies showing you take a particular animal, no matter what it is, lab animal, and you restrict its calories 30%. It's going to live longer. It's going to have a healthier end life, far better than its peers on a normal eating schedule. Consistency creates results. So we look at positive health. We look at positive aging. Inconsistency, our decline, our repair capability doesn't meet our damage done daily to our cells. And that's when you start seeing more than just gray hair and a few wrinkles. It's the inability to get up a set of stairs without just being completely out of breath, or just so many different things we used to be able to do, can't do them anymore. Getting ready to end the show here today. I want to thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, or the Dr. Jacalyn YouTube channel. It's a backup for our regular channel. So please go there, subscribe if you're not already. You want to learn more? Let me jump back on that last slide here real quick. Okay, come on, there we go. Want to learn more? I have a book called The Art of Ageless Health, and also have another book called Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging. Both of them on Amazon, both of them on my website. And getting ready to conclude here. Very shortly this summer here, very shortly, I'm writing a book called Aging Sucks, based on the hallmarks of aging, the hallmarks of health, and the pathways of disease, coming out in a couple of months. And I'm going to have a series of webinars. So that is concluding my presentation today on consistency. And we will cover another topic next week that also supports the 4 basic lifestyle choices that control our health and our aging. Take care, y'all. Bye now.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
My Tummy Hurts by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Meet Jackie. She loves recess, running with friends, and laughing on the playground. At school, Jackie tries to play like she always does, but suddenly the pain comes back. Lately, something feels different and her tummy hurts, sometimes a little and sometimes a lot. With the help of a caring teacher, a nurse, her mom, and a kind doctor, Jackie begins to understand what her body is trying to tell her. Sometimes tummy pain is more than a simple bellyache. Some children live with conditions like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Jackie listens to her body. She asks for help. She knows she's not alone. And Jackie finds her way back to running, laughing, and being herself. My Tummy Hurts, a kid's guide to bellyaches and bathroom troubles by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, available on Amazon and in fine bookstores around the world. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.